Or I explained the logic of knitting to you on a small piece. We knitted a total of 19 rows for the finished bandana, you see. Then we did the edge decorations and the ties and finished. Or I explained the logic of knitting to you on a small piece. We knitted a total of 19 rows for the finished bandana, you see. Then we did the edge decorations and the ties and finished our bandana. I hope you enjoy knitting it too. It's very easy and enjoyable to knit. A bandana that finishes quickly. Let's move on to our instructions.
Before we move on to our detailed recipe, here is a close-up of the texture of the yarn I used. It is 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. The crochet hook size I used is 2.10 millimeters. Let's move on to our recipe. As we start our recipe, we first create a magic ring. So while creating the magic ring, we complete the chain we pulled into 3 chains. Then we make 2 double crochets into our magic ring. We consider the 3 chains we initially pulled as 1 double crochet, and we have a total of 3 double crochets. We pull 1 chain in between, then we make 3 more double crochets into the magic ring. Then we pull the short yarn left from the magic ring and close our magic ring. We go up by pulling 3 chains and we turn our work. Then, by inserting into the top of the last double crochet we made in the previous row, we make 2 double crochets at this point. I insert into the same point again and make 1 more double crochet. Here, we consider the 3 chains we pulled at the beginning as 1 double crochet. This will continue in this way in each row. Here, along with 3 chains, we obtain a total of 3 double crochets. We consider the 3 chains we pulled at the beginning as 1 double crochet at the start of each row. Then, by pulling 1 chain in between, we insert into the 1 chain space we created in the next row and first crochet 3 double crochets at this point. Then we make 1 chain and crochet 3 more double crochets into the same point. In the middle chain space, we first crocheted 3 double crochets. We made a chain in the transition. There is a chain in between. Then we crocheted 3 more double crochets in the same spot. Again, we make a chain in the transition and insert into the top of the 3 chains we made in the previous row. We finish our row by making 3 double crochets at this point. As we can see, we have slowly started to achieve the triangle shape. Then I repeat the same steps. I go up with 3 chains. I turn my work. I crochet 2 double crochets into the top of the last double crochet I made in the previous row. And I create the triple crochet group at my starting point. I chain 1 in between each transition, then inserting into the 1 chain space.
I crochet 3 double crochets.
I chain 1 again in between and come to the 1 chain space in the middle. In this space, first 3 double crochets. Aici puteți industrini și doar că vom face net. Reverse down, then I crochet 1 chain and 3 more double crochets into the same space. I chain 1 again and come to a chain space, then crochet 3 double crochets into this point. I chain 1 again in the transition. And by inserting into the top of the 3 chains, I see here, they cross up 3 double crochets at this point and complete my row. In short, to summarize, we started with a magic ring.
And we made our groups of triple double crochets.
We made 3 double crochets here. We made 1 chain in between, then we made 3 double crochets next to it and closed our magic ring. We went up with 3 chains and worked 2 double crochets by inserting into the top of the first double crochet. With the chain, we obtained our group of 3 again. The only thing we need to pay attention to here is the beginnings and ends. At the beginning, don't forget to insert into the tops of the double crochets. Complete the beginning into a group of 3, and at the end, insert into the top of the chain to form a group of 3. Then, in the middle section, to create the triangle shape, in the space in the middle, that is, in the 1 chain space, we first make 3 double crochets, chain 1 in between, and then make 3 more double crochets so that we can achieve the triangle shape. That will explain the logic of the knitting to you with a small example in this way. Let's do 1 more row and understand the logic of our knitting more clearly.
I went up with 3 chains, then in the row below,
by inserting into the top of the last double crochet, I made first my first double crochet.
then I knit my second double crochet.
I make 1 chain in between. We always make 1 chain in transitions. Then, coming to the 1 chain space in the previous row, I make 3 double crochets at this point. I chain 1 again and come to my 1 chain space. At this point, I prepare 3 double crochets again. Ich pull a chain again in the transition, and as you can see, I have reached the middle part. Let's remember what we did here. First, we prepare 3 double crochets. Afterwards, in the same space, we make 3 more double crochets after chaining 1. So let's first prepare 3 double crochets. In between, again a chain and 3 more double crochets into the same space. We pull a chain again in between. We make 3 double crochets into our chain spaces. One chain into our last chain space. We also make 3 double crochets. We again make a chain in between and finally see the back dashed lines of the 3 chains here. By inserting into the top point of the 3 chains, we crochet 3 double crochets at this point and complete our row in this way. This model is actually the half version of the classic square motif we know. In this way, we will have obtained a triangular bandana.
To help you grasp the logic of knitting, I will also provide you with a small sample.
I gave an example.
The logic of the knitting progresses in exactly the same way.
We go up with 3 chains in each row. We insert into the top of the last double crochet we made in the previous row. We crochet 2 double crochets at this point and then work into the 1 chain spaces.
Then,
when we reach the 1 chain space in the middle, we make 3 double crochets at this point, chain 1 in between and make 3 more double crochets. This helps us form a triangle. We achieve the triangle shape thanks to the middle part. Then we chain again in between and work into the 1 chain spaces. We make 3 double crochets in each space and finally at the end, to finish our row, by inserting into the top point of the 3 chains we see here, we finish our row by knitting 3 double crochets at this point. In this way, we enlarge our headband until it reaches the desired length. Including the initial step, I knitted my headband for a total of 19 rows and prepared it.
Then, without cutting or breaking the yarn, we directly start making the tie. Let's prepare it together and see how we do it.
First, let's assume this is 19 rows. Let's assume we have knitted 19 rows. You can make it as big or small as you want.
The motif already consists of simple and repetitive rows. Once you grasp the logic, you will be able to continue on your own easily.
Let's imagine this is 19 rows, a large bandana. Then let's think that we have completed it and moved on to making the tie. For our tie, I started the tie on my normally sized bandana, which I knitted in 19 rows by making a total of 45 plus 1 turning chain, pulling 46 chains. I will show a simple example of this, a small piece. In this piece, I prepared 10 chains. Now we have made our 10 chains. This is the front part of our chain. We do not use the front part. So
We will work on the dashed lines at the back. Each time what we see here, we will proceed by pressing into these protrusions. I am also pulling my return chain. Then, by inserting into the back dashed line of the chain, I crochet single stitches until the chains I pulled are finished.
while pulling our chains, let's make sure to pull it a bit looser than our normal setting so that we can easily insert into the back dashed lines. If we pull too tight, it will be very difficult to insert into those back dashed lines. Therefore, if you pull your chains a bit looser than usual, you can insert more easily. I crocheted single crochet across all my chains. The reason we use the back dashed line of the chains is the top part and the bottom part should appear in a V shape like this. The goal is for it to look neat and have a clean finish.
Now, after finishing our lace,
We are moving to the forehead part. Let me show the forehead part more closely so you can understand better. In the forehead part, each of these triple treble crochet groups, each triple group, we will insert into the wide gap between the first treble crochet that will come to the forehead part and the second treble crochet. Here we see we will insert into these wide gaps. We will proceed to the end of the row by sinking into the gaps. The reason we do this is to avoid a wave-like appearance on the forehead like we see here for a cleaner look. I'm coming now. I finished my shoelace. I returned to the starting point by crocheting all my chains with single crochet stitches. Now I insert into the first double crochet of my first double crochet group. I think of it as if it were one stitch. And at this point, I crochet 3 single crochets. As you can see, I inserted into the wide gap between the first and second double crochet here. And I crocheted 3 single crochets on top of the double crochet. At the dartos stitch, I move directly to the next group of double crochets and insert into the wide gap between the first and the second, and I crochet 3 single crochets into this point. Then I move to the next double crochet. I insert into the space between the first and the second and crochet 3 single crochets again. Let's separate all the double crochets in this way and crochet 3 single crochets into each space until the end of the row. I completed all my single crochets. As I mentioned, I inserted into the wide space between the first and second of each treble crochet group and made 3 single crochets in each, reaching the end of the row. While doing this, I also hid the short yarn left from the magic ring between my stitches to prevent unraveling. Now, We just need to make the other lace. We'll do it the same way we continued at the beginning. First, I prepare by making the same number of chains as I did on this side. I made a total of 11 chains, including the turning chain. I completed my 11 chains, I turned the back of my chains and inserting into the dashed lines on the back, crochet a single crochet into each one. I am returning to the point where I started. I completed all my chains by crocheting them. I made a single crochet into each one and prepared the lace on this side. Then I turned my knitting to the front and I join it to the railing you see here with the slip stitch. Let's continue this way until the end of the row and finish our edging. If we iron it with a little steam, the edges of our bandana will be more clearly defined and the ties will sit more neatly. We can iron it with a little steam. It will make it look nicer.
To summarize,
As I mentioned at the beginning, I prepared the headband with a total of 19 rows in the middle section.
This corresponds to approximately 28 to 30 centimeters in length.
As for the forehead width, it reaches a length between 37 and 40 centimeters. When you iron it, the knitting relaxes a few centimeters, and when you iron it, these measurements increase by a few centimeters. As I said, I knitted the middle part, that is, the triangular part of the bandana, for a total of 19 rows from the beginning. Here, I showed you the logic of the knitting with a small example to explain the logic of the knitting. We complete 19 rows. Then, as we did before, we first prepare one of our ties. After that, we go over the single crochets of the forehead part and then prepare our other tie, attaching it to our bandana by slip stitching to the top of the treble crochet here. Then we move on to the edge decorations. After completing our edge decorations, we make one single crochet into each of the remaining 2 double crochets and a slip stitch into the last double crochet to finish our edge decoration. And then we make one chain and cut our yarn. That's how simple it was to make our bandana. I hope you enjoy knitting it too.
I wish those who will knit good luck in advance. Enjoyable knitting.